Hi, it's TCK and welcome back to the Ramble channel. This week I am taking it back to the basics for the TCK definitions as well as the common reactions to finding the TCK identity. And speaking of back to the basics, that is going to be the 2017 theme for the Families in Global Transitions Conference, the conference at which I have actually been invited to speak at. So I will be attending FIGT in March, and I will be doing a kitchen table conversation. This week I'm going to start with the basic definitions of third culture kids. Ruth Hilusim's definition is a person who has spent a significant portion of their developmental years outside of their parents' culture. Ruth Hilusim was a sociologist who first coined the term third culture kid. She herself was a TCK. David Pollock's definition was developed a little while later, and he sort of interpreted in different identity markers into his definition. So his definition, the first part is similar, and then he kind of delves a little bit deeper. The TCK frequently built relationships to all of the cultures while not having full ownership of any. Although elements from each culture may be assimilated into the TCK's life experience, the sense of belonging is in relationship to others of similar background. So this means that the culture in which TCKs live in are identified with other TCKs who have experienced similar developmental experiences. So the traditional model comes in 4 different varieties. We've got missionary, military, business, and foreign service. And those are kind of the 4 bases that the third culture identity sort of jumps off of and then later includes or is very similar to overlapping identities like cross-cultural kids. Because of these 4 major identities, these different roles are affected by the parents' organizations that they are overseas with. They are responsible for maintaining the values of the organization that takes them overseas. This also means that the children and their choices can affect the status of their parents. So children can cause parents to be kicked out of a country for their behavior and their choices. And so there's a lot more pressure on these kids to maintain appropriate grades and to act appropriately in many different cultures. And that essentially is the biggest difference between third culture kids and cross-cultural kids. So now that we've kind of gone over the basic definition of the TCK as well as the different kinds and the traditional definition, I'm also going to go over sort of the classic reactions to finding the TCK identity. So the 3 reactions consist of being a chameleon, a screamer, or a wallflower. So chameleons are very similar to how they sound. They conform externally and they just kind of play the part and look however they think that they are supposed to look in whatever culture or country that they are currently in. The screamers really like to let everyone know that they're very different from other people and their identity is important and it differentiates them from their peers. The wallflowers are the people who sit on the sidelines and they don't engage in their identity or mention it to others, and they kind of hope that it never gets talked about. And this not wanting to talk about it comes from not wanting to be exposed because it's a point of vulnerability. Thank you so much for joining me this TCK Tuesday. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter at TCK Rambles. I will see you next Tuesday. Bye everyone.